Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your Uncle Splorin Ryan, coming to you from the beautiful Winter Park, Orlando area. It's mid-September 2018. The temperatures are starting to get less miserable. The humidity is tolerable. And on a weekend where usually I would be out doing just a little exploring, I'm here at the house. And I promised myself, at least, I would get a video up every weekend that I could. So I figured this might be a good one to update. It's been a crazy 2-ish months, really, and we've had a lot of illness in the house between my daughter being sick, my wife being sick, myself getting run down. So it seems like a pretty good time to just kind of take it down a notch, and instead of going out and filming something, kind of updating everybody on what's going on with the channel, and hopefully get a little feedback from you as well. Yeah, we're doing a little smoking today. Ribs and habanero peppers straight from the garden. All of which still have a little bit of time to go, so it gives us a nice quiet time for a little chat. This is the beginning of my favorite season here in Orlando. Fall is beautiful out here. Once the hurricanes get out of the forecast, it gets beautiful. See, our fall here in Winter Park doesn't really start until February. So what is the real autumn for us generally means 70s to low 80s. Some good breezes. The rain starts ebbing off a little bit because we're wet pretty much all summer long. And well, we've had rain constantly, which my backyard looks like it was hit by a hurricane because, with the exception of the real hurricane, it kind of was. We've had monsoon rains, crazy wind, lightning strikes like every other day. It's just been nuts back here. But that's Orlando in August and September for you. To start things off today, I started with a little hickory smoke and a little applewood. Usually I like to throw a little oak on there, but I don't have any, so instead I just add a little cherry on there, which will, the cherry and the oak will both give the meat a little bit more of a darker red smoke ring. And of course, add some really good flavor to it too. The apple and the cherry are sweet. The hickory gives it kind of a bacony smokiness to it. Just really good stuff. But we'll get to that in a minute. So it's been several weeks since I had the talk with all of you where I said that I was getting away from all the Disney vlogs. And I gotta say, over the last several weeks, I've done it. I still go to Disney. I said that I would. Continue to go with my family, continue to go with friends. I'm just not vlogging it. But I gotta say, it's not always easy to break habits. And it's not because I want to film Disney. It's because when I go with my friends and my family, most of them are filming. And you kind of feel like you're obligated to do so, especially when you've made a promise like I have that you're going to try to put some content out every single weekend. And it's not always easy. People say, well, what's hard about it? You take a camera out or you take a phone out and you start filming what you're doing. Well, the problem is you don't want to film the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, that's the entire idea about getting away from Disney to begin with, is trying to do something a little bit different. And as much as there's a ton of stuff to do here in Orlando, it requires a lot of effort to figure out where you're going to go, to drive out there, to do the research before you drive out there, set up your camera shots, figure out what you're going to say, figure out what you're going to film. It's excuse me, it's a lot more complicated than what you might think it is. Quick shot to show you what the most recent lines of storms did over here to the sandbox, which filled up with rain, and in the space of probably about 4 days has turned into a tadpole breeding program in my backyard. Not to mention all the crap it's dropped on my roof. I'm not complaining, mind you. I love it out here. And that's kind of what got me into this whole new line of vlogs to begin with. Was I want to show more of what's around here, the area that I've come to love. And I promise you, I'm going to continue to do that. I'm just taking one weekend off to kind of focus on my family a little bit more, which is honestly and obviously the biggest priority anyways. But we got a lot of cool things in store, and I think over the last month or so, not going to the theme parks is, personally, I feel at least, made me put out some of the best content that I've had so far. If you're already subscribed to the channel, you probably know that a few weeks ago I got to head to Atlanta for a follow-up trip to Dragon Con with some very good friends. A couple of which I've only known for a short time, but they've become very close compadres in this whole vlogging thing. And it was great to spend some time with them, but got out and did the Dragon Con thing again. Didn't film as much there as I thought I was going to, because honestly I felt it would be churning out the same thing that I did last year, and I didn't want to do that. So much less footage than I thought I was going to do there, but then headed out to Stone Mountain, and I've been wanting to do Stone Mountain Park for years, probably 7, 8, maybe even a 9 years worth of planning to finally get out there, which shouldn't take that long. Atlanta's not that far from Orlando, 8-ish hours, but it finally happened, and to get a chance to do it with some good friends of mine, it was awesome. Getting a chance to explore downtown Orlando with Sean from Negro Orlando was huge. The Monument of the States, I mean, it's right in my backyard, and I didn't even know it was there until a few weeks ago. I'll be the first to say it, a lot of these vlogs, since I got off the theme parks, they don't get the views that Disney does. Disney has a built-in audience, and again, not taking anything away from anybody. I'm not saying it's easy to go out there all the time. It's not. If you knew what it takes to drag yourself into Disney all the time, my hat's off to the people who can do that. But definitely have to take the standpoint that I'm okay with getting less views as long as I'm putting out content that I feel I could stand behind, and the kind of content that I actually want to produce and want to see. And I'm hoping you're enjoying it too. Today we're smoking at about 250 degrees. We're currently passing the 2-hour point. I'm going to leave these on for about 4 hours. These are St. Louis spare ribs, by the way. They look like they got a nice crust on them, but don't let that fool you. They are nowhere near done. So, what is in store for the channel? There's a few things that I've got in mind, and then I kind of want to open it to all of you guys for some suggestions. I've been reading a lot of books, both new and some older ones, about Central Florida, and there's a lot of cool stuff in Central Florida that I don't really see popping up a whole lot on YouTube. A lot of stuff I didn't even know existed, and I want to start exploring some of that stuff. There's some stuff that has been touched on before, but not a whole lot. There's Casadega, which is an area in between Orlando and Daytona, which is it's a city of spiritualists. That sounds like a kind of cool thing to me. I'd like to see what that is. There are a lot of towns out by Mount Dora and Eustis, which are to the west of here, that are beautiful old cities that are left over from when the robber barons were coming down here and they had their winter homes. There's a lot of cool public art. There's a lot of cool mansions and old homes and little downtown areas. I want to go see some of that stuff and show it to you. There's a lot of cool stuff around here, and it doesn't always get its due, and we're going to start working on that. Real quick smoking tip. I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of smoke coming up here. Not a ton, and that's actually a good thing. When you have too much smoke coming out, your meat's generally going to be a little or a lot more bitter than it needs to be. This kind of light wispy blue smoke is what you want to go for. Gonna try to do some more stuff in the Chattanooga area in the upcoming months. I'd like to get out to St. Augustine and do quite a few things out there. I think it's pretty obvious that a city that is that old and that historic could have some very interesting content coming out of it. Christmas time's coming up. I want to put out more Christmas content. I always enjoy putting that stuff out. Call me a little kid. That's fine. I love putting out Christmas content. I was thinking about putting out some more Halloween stuff, but honestly, I think the Halloween stuff is covered pretty well here in Orlando. So I'm just going to skip right ahead to the later months. But really, here's the real meat and potatoes of why I wanted to film this today. I wanna open things up to you guys. What do you guys want to see? I've done the theme parks. I've done the more obvious stuff around in Orlando, and I've done a lot of the meetups and all that kind of stuff. But what do you guys want to see? I've had it suggested to me by a couple of folks who have been doing this much longer and who have been much more successful than I, that use the meetups and use the co-vloggers sparingly, because that's something that we do mainly for our own fun, but it doesn't always translate to you guys having fun. Do you want to see me collaborate with vloggers, other vloggers more, or do you want to see some solo stuff? Obviously, the flavor's a little bit different when I'm by myself as compared to when I'm out with Greg or Sean or Jason or Adam or Jacob or Jay or Jackie or Scott or any of the other vloggers that I do a lot of collaborations with. I have a great time with them, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to hang out with them if I don't collaborate. It just means that maybe I won't bring the camera while I'm doing it. Unless you want to see that kind of stuff. Do you want to see the collaborations? Do you want to see the beaches? Do you want to see the natural wonder of Florida? Do you want to see the historical stuff? Do you want to see the touristy stuff, or do you want to see restaurants that maybe you don't know exist? Scott from the Tourist Trap, to me, is the master of finding these cool restaurants and these cool little shops in Florida that I had no idea existed, and I'm excited that they're here in town. I could try them. Do you want to see that kind of stuff? Do you want to see events? Do you want to see festivals? You tell me right below, please. If you are watching this, you would have my sincerest gratitude if you could leave 1 or 2 suggestions at least of the type of content that you want to see on Splorin. And I promise you, for every person who writes something, a real suggestion, I will respond to it, and I will consider it. Maybe there's a reason I haven't done it yet, but who knows? Please, write below what kind of content you want to see on here. Do you want to see stuff that is more personality driven? Or do you want to see stuff that's more location driven? It's up to you guys. Tell me what you guys are looking for. I cannot promise you that I will take every single suggestion, but I will definitely take into consideration every single suggestion. I do have at least 3 more collaborations that are pre-scheduled between now and December, and I'm sure that'll go up. There's a few things that I know are already on the docket that I don't want to throw out there just yet, but it's been suggested that maybe going out and filming by myself a little bit more often could be a good thing to mix in there a little bit more, and I've done that recently, and I definitely have a different quality level that comes out of things where I'm by myself as opposed to when I'm with other people. When I go out with other people, honestly, it's more about the interaction with those people, and when I'm out by myself, I tend to focus more on whatever location it is, or whatever the history is, or what's going on around me. So I'll be the first to say there's definitely a different flavor involved doing it solo versus going out with other people. But again, please, down below, let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, and we'll take that into consideration. And like I said, I will answer each and every one of you that puts a legitimate thing down there. I'm not necessarily going to answer the 3 or 4 people I know are probably going to put on there like, you suck, you should quit. And one last quick thing before I sign off, because I don't want to go on too long. For everyone who has joined up on the channel over the last several months, a huge thank you from me to you for jumping on board. What you're seeing right now is not the typical vlog. I try to do a one-on-one type vlog like this once every 2 or 3 months, just to kind of catch everybody up. I do plan to get back into doing some live streams, just because honestly I enjoy the interaction with everybody. But the regular Splorin content will resume next week. And if you haven't already, definitely I would love if you'd hit subscribe below and hit the bell, just because I want to interact with you more. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know what you like and what you don't like, and that's about it. Guys, this is where I usually say that join us next time when we do a little Splorin. But join us next time when we do a little Splorin.